Hello, it's Saturday the 3rd of September 2016. Seems like an ideal day to do some beekeeping. So here we have the Beehaus beehive. It's a modern plastic design, very good for bees, lots of space inside, and pretty pleased with it. So we'll start off by looking inside the top of the hive. These small plastic containers are called supers, and this is where the bees will keep their honey. And that's where we will collect them from. Now, as you can see, I'm using a smoker to kind of calm the bees down, which is a good idea. Obviously, we don't want to get stung. That's kind of the main aim of beekeeping, or my main aim of beekeeping anyway. So we'll start by lifting out one of these frames. As you can see, it can be a little bit tricky to get the frame out of the hive, especially because the bees produce a substance called propolis, which they use to glue the frames together. Part of it, I just sort of give them a bit of a thing like that. Make sure they're apart, and then sometimes that makes it a bit easier to pull up the frames. Like that. It does sometimes damage the wax a bit. There we go. So let's see what's going on this frame. I'll just pull that up like that. Ooh. Okay, so what we have is they started to cap this. So you see that the loose honey at the bottom there is obviously not capped, and then at the top it is capped. And the way this works is that they evaporate water out of the honey, and once it's got to the right consistency, they seal it in. And it keeps for many years like that. And there's a little bit of honey on this side, but not a huge amount, just a little bit. So that's fine. So that's one of the end frames, so that's inevitably not going to have quite as much. I might just leave that out a minute because it just makes it a bit easier to do the business. Of course, if it falls over though, we have a bit of a problem. If you squish these. There we go. Right, this frame is considerably fuller.
It's a bit broken, did you see that?
It is a bit broken, yeah. So the thing is, the tops are coming off these because they glue them in so thoroughly. There we go. So you see, this frame is considerable. Squished a bit then. This frame is considerably fuller, and it's also beginning to be capped on that side and also on this side. So we get a couple of jars out of just this frame alone, I think. So that's good. So I'll just pop that back in. So that's basically 1.5 frames. And we'll just do this one as well. Really glued it in, that one. And the thing is, I do this every week and then they re-glue it. It's a nightmare, really. Right, so what's going on here? Lots of honey on that side, that's good, and they've started to cap it on that side. So that's encouraging, but that is probably going to be it in terms of honey. Unfortunately, didn't have a very good year this year. So this one is just an empty frame, there's not doing anything on this. It's just empty comb. Bit of a shame, but there we go. Can't win them all. Okay, so we'll put that all back together. So let's see if I can remember which way around it was. This one goes that way. You don't really want to swap the frames around because they don't love that. I find that a bit confusing, and then that can cause problems. But they're also, these frames must go together very tightly, otherwise it doesn't fit. Okay. Now, ideally, without squishing any bees. That's the trick of beekeeping.
Ooh.
They usually get out of the way pretty quickly, but sometimes you do have a few casualties. Ooh, there we go. Push that in down there, and then we'll just pop the lid back on before taking the whole thing off and having a look through the rest of the hive. So we also have this frame, this super over here, but they have historically done absolutely zilch in here. You see there are only a few bees, and it's very much like those end frames of the other super, so there's really not much going on in there, which is a shame. But there we go, not an ideal summer for beekeeping. So let's get into the proper hive. Let's see if the smoke is still going. It might be. Need to keep puffing them really, and I've left that for a long time, so There's still smoke coming out, so we'll just give them another puff like that. And then what we'll do is we'll take the first one off, like that, and just pop that on the floor right there. And we'll do the same with the second one. You really glue them in. So that's always really helpful. Well done, bees. And we'll give these guys a little smoke. And the idea is that that will send them down into the hive. So obviously the theory is not always quite as accurate as the implementation. So what we'll do, just pull these plastic things off. So these are queen excluders, and the idea of this is that the holes in them are too small for the queen to fit through because she's a bit bigger than the other bees. So she can't lay eggs in the top in the supers where we collect the honey from, so that they can only use that space to store honey. And that means that when you extract them, you don't get sort of larvae or eggs or anything disgusting, you just get honey. Ooh, look, there's a bee split in half, that's unfortunate. They're not going to love that. So that's fine, let's just get up this other thing. Now in conventional hives these are usually sort of a more solid wooden affair, which is actually a bit easier, but this is a plastic version. So you get this sort of thing where they ping off at the end, which is not ideal. Knock them back in there. And so you have a lot more bees around now, but what we'll do is just smoke them a bit. And we should see them start to calm down quite quickly, that's the theory anyway. So nice, lots of smoke coming out there, so that's really good. That's really, really good indeed. So, what we'll do is start at the back. This is just a dummy board, just stops them building more wax really. So we'll just pop that out the front, let the bees actually get back in the hive. And we'll just take this frame by frame. So, at the back here, don't expect to see much going on, to be honest. Maybe a bit of honey collected. These bees seem to store honey in the wrong part of the hive, which is fantastic because you can't collect it from the back. So what have we got here? So at the top here, you see, it's sort of covered frames, covered holes. These are, this is honey in here, so they've stored it at the back. This is good for the winter. It's obviously not a full frame, so that's fine. There's nothing really going on the other side. It's just a blank frame, really. It's fine. It's not too bad. No problem there. Don't have a problem with that. So what we'll do is have a look, and as we go through, as we get towards the middle, we'll start to see more brood, and hopefully we might see the queen. That would be ideal. So these bees are very calm. They've all relaxed since they've exploded out a minute ago. So what have we got on this side then? Got a nice solid frame of honey actually. But again, we can't extract it from this frame, so it's very annoying because they store. It's a very heavy frame, this. But there's nothing we can do about it. And then I see they've got some stored on this side as well. But this is good. I mean, they'll get through the winter on this kind of stores. It's very encouraging. That's very good news. It means I won't have to feed them too much sugar water to get them through. But it is a bit annoying that they didn't store all of that actual honey in the top of the hive. That would have been much, much easier for me right now. A bit more smoke because unfortunately I've got dead bee pheromone on my glove, which they don't love. Sort of makes them a bit more aggressive, but it's fine. Oh, right, so once again I think we have a frame here of honey. Yeah, absolutely solid on that side and absolutely solid on that side as well. There's no chance the queen will be on these frames because she only hangs out where the brood is, which will be on the next couple of frames hopefully. There was a bit of an incident last weekend with the queen, so hopefully she's still alive, we don't know. But if not, they will have been able to bring up another new queen for this year. It's just regicide all over. So this is another solid frame of honey. Fantastic. I mean, they're very good at making honey, but unfortunately they store it in the wrong place. So yes, there's this biscuity covered stuff is brood, and you see it's a sort of different colour from the honey in this bit above, and I can't see any larvae on this frame, and that's fine. Can't see the queen either, but she's going to be around somewhere. So that's fine. That's fine. and this side is just honey. So we're starting to get into the brood of the hive, of the colony. For this next frame I would expect to see brood on both sides. Let's just crack it open and have a look, just give them another puff, and keep puffing them, but also keep the smoke going, which is a good idea. That's fine. So we're on this one, aren't we? Get rid of him. Ooh. Right, so what can we say about this? There's a bit of honey and a bit of brood, basically. It's the same story on all sides. Sometimes if I give it a little blow on them, they sort of clear space. That means that you can see what they're doing. But actually, there's not much going on there. And then I'll have a look at this side. Whoops! Right. So this, again, there's some brood. A bit concerned that there's not much larvae. So that could be a sign that we don't have a queen, but then there's no queen cells. So, don't know what we make of that. Keep going, that's the answer. See what else is going on. It's not ideal weather for the inspection today. There we go. This is quite a light frame. What we have going on. Again, lots of brood. Cap-sealed brood, which is great. It'll hatch soon. No sign of the queen. And not really much sign of anything else. You alright?
Yeah, to be on the camera.
Oh, yes. The problem is our camera's red. Oh, there she is. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Right in the middle there. So she's still alive. We've marked her with that white splodge on the back. So that's how you can spot her. So that's really good news. She's obviously still alive, and that's really all I needed to know. She's got a much bigger bum than the bottom than the rest of the bees, so that's how you can spot her. And I actually had to spot her on this frame last weekend, pick her up and mark her, which was terrifying. And she has a tendency to fall off the frame, so I'm just going to put her back in because I absolutely cannot afford. She's still on there?
Yeah.
Good. Can't afford to lose another queen.
Oops, she just fell off, but she fell in the hive. It's
Did
okay.
she fall off?
She fell into the hive. It's okay.
Christ.
Just
Really?
put it back in. Seriously.
I can't see her anymore.
No, she fell off the frame. It's fine. Just put it back in.
Okay, that's unfortunate. There we go. Sometimes that happens. At least she fell in the hive this time, and I'm not scrabbling around on the floor. So let's give them a bit of smoke, because they are now on top of the hive, which I would rather they were not. So they do sort of respond to the smoke, slowly. It has a sort of twin effect. It disrupts their pheromone communication, so they don't know they're being attacked, which is how this must seem. And it also makes them feel like their hive is about to catch fire, so they have to go and deal with that by eating as much food as they can in case they need to swarm and fly off. So that's good. We'll keep going through the inspection, because there's a chance she'll be back on this frame now, but that's fine. See a weirdly hang along the bottom, no one really knows why. Anything going on your side? I don't think so.
Bit of brood. There's some drone cells up there.
Ah yes,
larger
so those
ones.
bigger sticky out cells are for male bees. Don't have so many male bees, which is good. Okay, so queen's still in there from last week, that's really good news. And then this side is the same really, it's just brood. Brood in these little rings. And they form these rings of brood because they she starts laying in the middle and honey around the edge. And they obviously hatch sort of in the same time frame. They tend to hatch in the middle first, and you get these sort of empty spaces, and then she comes around and lays eggs, and so the cycle sort of continues. So we're getting to the end, or to the front I suppose, of the hive. Last 3 frames. Getting a little bit more excited now, but that's fine. Had worse. Oh, right. So, I mean, it's pretty much more of the same here. Brood in all stages. There's a male bee there. Don't know if you can see that. A bit bigger than the others. It's fine. We'll zoom in there, isn't it? Okay. And see what's going on this side. It's pretty much the same again. I mean, seen one frame, seen them all at this point. although we do need to see them all in case there's anything we need to know about. So that's the problem, they respond quite badly to sudden movement, so you want to be careful, he says, about sort of flicking your hands around. Though it is a good way of getting the bees off them. Difficult. Right, so last couple of frames. Pop that open. Pop that open. How are we doing for time?
Fine. Got 4 minutes.
Okay. So again, not a huge amount
They're
going on.
eating honey here, just hold still, it's quite cute.
What's happening?
They're eating some uncapped honey.
Oh, that's nice.
Cute.
Lucky them. And then brood on this side. So lots of brood, going to hatch soon. Takes about 3 weeks for brood to hatch.
Oh, we've got some larvae there.
Oh, have we?
Nice.
Oh, that's excellent news. Excellent news. So if they were without a queen, they could convert that larvae into a new queen. But they're not doing that, so that's very good. That means they're happy. Once they're happy with their current queen, they can supersede the queen if they don't like her. Let her lay some brood and then replace it. And then bring it up as a queen and then replace her. That's just give a bit more of a puff. So this front frame, this is where the magic really happens with bees coming into the colony. They tend to congregate on this frame. This is the first frame in there, and they just use it as a meeting place really. And collect honey on it, see? That's fine, no problem with that. Okay.
Yep.
Let's see what's going on.
Some nice bright orange nectar. Oh, you can see the bees actually. Oh, quite a lot's just falling out.
What? Of nectar?
But yeah,
Yes,
it's okay. Of pollen.
Of pollen, okay.
It was
And maybe
the bright
film underneath the hive and show the kind of
orange.
mess that they make in terms of
Yeah.
capping and uncapping. Right. So then packing it all up is just a case of doing everything back the way it was. So just a bit of a shake. There we go. So I use a lot more smoke just to push them back down, and then you just push these frames back to the way they were, and you just have to hope that you don't squish the queen or any other bees in this. And you really must make sure that you don't leave too much space between them, because that can cause all kinds of problems. So that looks pretty good to me. Give them another puff, keep the puff going, as it were. And then we pop in this, whoop, drop this, and then we pick it up and then pop in this frame. This just stops them building comb any further back than the one that we want them to. We pop on these chaps. Now unfortunately there are a few bees, okay, a couple of bees that I've got. See, the problem with these plastic things is if they get trapped in the middle, I don't know if that bee's alive or dead really. Then they do have a tendency to get squished, which is unfortunate. He walked off saying he was okay. And then of course putting them back on top can cause a bit of a kerfuffle as well, so we'll just do our final smoke. Try and get them in there.